Hello, hello. Attention, Free Play Arcade Community Group. This is Chris Delp coming at you live from the Free Play Away Game Studios 2.0, where it appears all of our streaming programming is working together. So we are streaming live now at twitch.tv/freeplayarcade. Thank you for joining us there. If you chat there, the link is above, by the way. Your chat can be seen here in the side over there, and it will be active throughout this program. It's VGM Wednesday live. Ian's here. Mike's here as well. But before we get to that, I should say that Free Play Richardson is where it's at today. It's open 3 to 11 p.m. You got the hours right there. We'll be doing Wrestling Wednesday, where will you be there, Mike?
I will be there.
Okay, Mike will be there, possibly defending his ST World Championship. Sarah will definitely be there, defending her Pac-Man Battle Royale World Championship. I gotta find me a Killer Queen partner so I can take those tag team titles away from Cloud and J-Pong. But many wacky title matches, AEW or NXT wrestling. I don't know what's being shown today. One of them, starting at 7 o'clock, will be on the projector.
Both are.
Both are? Okay, then we
Yep.
will have, I don't know, you and Carlos
Laptop.
fight it out over it. Yeah. First to 10 on, I don't know, Dr. Mario to determine who gets to choose which wrestling. So that's today, starting at 7 o'clock. Wrestling Wednesday, it's a lot of fun. Afterwards, we will shoot promos like you've been seeing all day, like you will continue to see all day. It's a lot of fun. We'll bring the title belts out. Mike, try and help me remember that I have my own title belt. We don't have to use yours all the time. And we're gonna shoot those videos and have a lot of fun. I love this event. This is the most casual, friendly event that we do every week right now, since Tuesday Night Fights has been kind of here and there and on hiatus at times. So I can't recommend it enough. You don't need to like wrestling to enjoy this event. Basically every game has its players during Wrestling Wednesday. And if you do like wrestling, well, of course you need to be there. It's a super festive event, and there's chanting and cheering when Carlos plays and booing when Mike B plays. It is a lot of fun. So see you out there. But today's Wednesday, and that also means it is VGM Wednesday. So I'm just going to toss it right over here to our VGM Wednesday specialist, Ian. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I like how Boat Guy is now the always opening image.
Mm-hmm. He's the important one. Always open.
Yeah.
Always
Gotta get
closed
those,
with that.
Streamers and Twitch viewers. Yeah, today, let me get Fred Boat. So, Mike, do you have any news for today, though?
I got.
Birthdays,
Yes,
music
absolutely.
news?
Yeah. While you get ready to get your engines going over there, I got a couple of things I can share with you real quick. This won't take too long, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
I figure I would today take it a little bit different. Of course, I report
actual
on.
news today.
Yeah, well, what I would do is report on a little bit of community news, if you will.
No.
Okay.
Nice.
Basically things happening around the DFW area.
This is the segment where we plug all of Mike B's DJ gigs. Go for it.
This Friday, Arlington.
There you go. There you go. Someone speaks the language of Mike B.
I think I have a DJ Mike B poster, don't I?
Autograph poster.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember the poster you made for the
Mike
Replay
B.
has its own Mike B autographed copy of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
that is true.
Gosh.
That is true.
Whoa.
That is
man.
true.
Next level.
God, yeah, that's a joke for 3 people. It's me, Chris, and
There you
Orlando,
go. Plug
who's
Mike B.
somewhere else right now. But yeah, Chris.
Yes,
So
Friday.
but yeah, Friday next my next DJ gig. However, wanted to share something with you that I know that would drive you crazy if you were to experience it. I know that you won't experience it, but when I was hearing this, when I was hearing the people talk about it on the radio, I was like, "There's no way Chris would do this. It would drive him crazy." But as you well know, the State Fair of Texas. Okay.
Yes, been a while, but
It's been a while. Yes.
we're talking drive-through.
We are talking about the drive-through experience. The first day of the experience was this past Saturday, Chris. And there's a reason why this happened, which I'll go over in a second. But
COVID.
there were certain time slots that you would go, report for your drive-through experience, and the whole thing is just, it's supposed to take about 2 hours. You drive through the fair, you experience all the different foods that you pre-purchase, and you get to take a picture with Big Tex, who is wearing a mask, right? Okay,
Oh
cool.
dear.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Now, some people really, really love the fair.
I don't think COVID is big text transmitted.
Ooh, yeah.
I think he's okay.
I think he's
Yeah.
fine. I think he's fine too. Some people really, really love the fair. Like I haven't been in a few years. I mean, like as a kid, yeah, it was cool. Go get a funnel cake. Throw a baseball and try to hit something or shoot a basket that.
I haven't
bounces
been all
off 5
excited
feet,
since they
you
had
know.
that Tom Landry exhibit. They need to bring
Yeah.
that bit back.
Yeah, so, like some of the
Ooh.
exhibits are cool, right? And that was definitely one of them right there. I
That's
agree
my
with you on
favorite part, are the exhibits. I like
Yeah.
learning.
that. Yeah, and sometimes they'll have some cool concerts. Like
You've played it?
no, I haven't played. I haven't done a concert.
Not that
but,
cool, man.
Wasn't Nelly like a year ago?
Yeah,
Right,
he was
last
last year, I think.
Hey, they can do the thong song all they want, but I want DJ Terminator Mike B suspended over the top of that
Oh my
looking
Jeez.
that looking pool or whatever they have with the fountains going around them, lasers. That's the way it needs to be, right there.
Gosh.
Yeah. Well, basically, where was I going? Oh yeah. So there's experiences, things like that. Right now, here's something that this is where I know Chris would have said out immediately, but it's reported that
Right when you're at to go State Fair, out.
yeah.
I'm just imagining like you've got all the things you don't want at the fair, like hours long lines and waiting and heat, and you don't get to walk around.
Yep.
Well, get this. Imagine being stuck in your car
That's exactly what I would imagine if it was to go.
for
It's happened to me once. at the
6
fair.
hours.
That's exactly what I would anticipate. That's why I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
On Saturday, the first day of this experience, some people were stuck in line in their cars for
And I'm sure-
6 hours.
I'm sure literally stuck. Literally stuck.
Literally stuck. Yeah, and guess what happened? They ran out of gas.
Nice.
Oh no!
Wow.
Yeah, some
All
people
for some
ran out
funnel
of gas waiting, to go through the experience. And the hang up was basically one simple thing. Now, they said they've worked on it and got it better for Sunday, and they're working on it, and it should be better for this coming weekend. But the hang up was right away. Your first stop was to get your beverage. And your beverages were, of course, your standard Cokes like Big Red, Dr. Pepper, whatever the case may be. Milk was an option.
Milk.
Who gets?
They get their
And,
cocktail
on
and
a
have to
hot
drink
day?
it and sober up right there before they continue on.
So apparently, what happened is that when the people would get to that first starting point, that caused the bottleneck because they purchased drink, but it wasn't specified which drink. So when they get to the stop, they ask, "What type of drink did you want?" And then, of course, the old question, "Well, what do you have?" "Well, we have this, we have this,
Oh
we have
my
this."
God.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Hey, what do y'all want? They have the, and then there you go.
Yeah. Mikey would like himself a Dr. Pepper / Coca-Cola suicide with no ice, please.
Yeah. And then
what's the largest
thus-
size you have?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Do you have a bigger one? Because I am a celebrity.
Thus the bottleneck started, and then I could just imagine just Chris just being there for an hour, just like Get me out of this.
I would consider going. I would take my cowboy hat and I would take my
Yeah.
lawn chair and I would
Okay.
throw it out and sit right next to it and just enjoy the people watching as
Yes.
cars are parked and honking and running out of gas and people are urinating on themselves because they're
Oh
stuck
my
for
God.
6 hours and they can't get out of their car.
On
Oh
God.
my goodness, this would be great.
Mm.
And then I'll get on the
So-
train and get out of there.
There you go. So basically, they're promoting this as a once-in-a-lifetime photo
That's true.
with, big tech wearing the mask and stuff like that.
True.
But
Your
that
own
photo-
post-apocalyptic Texas State Fair.
that photo will cost you $25,
Mhm.
which emits
Nope.
one vehicle up to 8 people and one downloadable professional photo. There are also packages available. 65 for 2 people, 99 3 to 4. So it's basically the people in the photo, and then of course there's the foods. Some people wonder why. Well, why can't I just buy the corny dog? Well, this time you can. Turkey legs are $24. Corn on the cob is 10. Corn dogs 15. Sausage on a stick 12.
All the stuff you can just make at home or get.
That is
Somewhere
how
else.
much these food options are for you. So,
I need my deep
What I
fried
would-
masterpieces, though.
What
Yeah,
I was
Where's my
wondering.
deep fried Frito pie?
yeah,
Oh my God.
you would
Ooh.
think that those would
Is
be
that a
available.
thing?
I'm sure
I'm
it is.
sure it was.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, they-
delicious. And
Deep
healthy.
fried shepherd's pie is amazing too.
Mm.
Really good.
So, yeah, I just
So none of
just
that was
saw that.
available?
Yeah,
Wow.
I was
What,
like,
what I was wondering, I know I think all the packages come with one midway prize or whatever. I'm like, I would love it if it's one of the really big ones that's impossible to win, mainly like the big Pokemon ones. But they'll probably just end up giving you the little itty bitty cheap looking
Yes, and
cheap
but
looking prizes.
they'll give you 3 darts, and if you can hit one of the balloons from within your car across the midway into the the bulletin board, then you can upgrade your prize to one worth approximately 45 cents more. I don't know if Tiger
And-
Lily sold Mike B.
No.
They should have gone with my idea.
Uh-huh.
So when Big
I don't
Texas,
even play the games when I actually go to the fair. I don't like the game card thing because the lines take forever to get just one game card, and the first time they integrated that, we waited for a good while. Finally got the game card, used it once, and then we lost it, so yeah.
they
Uh.
should have gone with our idea that we had on Mike B News back in 2017 or whenever it was, when he had his unfortunate accident, and when they rebuilt him, make him in the image of Mike B. A 100-foot tall
Jeez.
Mike B.
oh my
Gosh.
god,
Welcoming,
was that 2017?
trying to explain to all the people.
Oh, yeah, he caught on fire.
Yeah, I was in college still, so it was way before 2017.
I think it was maybe 2014, maybe 2013, something like
No,
that.
I remember. It was 2012.
2012.
Because
Okay.
yeah, that's when I transferred to UNT, and I was in one of my literature courses, and that's all everyone was talking about. We didn't even have class that day. That's all we were talking about.
But imagine it, Tiger Lily, a 100-foot tall Mike B with the Big Tex accent trying.
Hey, it's his wish come true
Yeah.
to be really tall.
Yeah,
So it
he's
worked.
there trying to explain to the teenage boys that he's not their dad, and maybe pass out his phone number because he's the Ryan Reynolds of Foot Locker. I think you know
Oh,
what I'm
and
saying.
he can, you know how
Two
the
teenage
actual
boys?
big text can move his mouth and move around. Can have Mike B do low tiger shots. Have it move and do that. Yeet people.
I don't even know what you're saying right now.
let's just pretend he could do the tiger uppercut and have him do one of those 150
Huh.
feet into the sky.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh,
my
and the
God.
jorts, man.
Not want people to come to the fair, not scare them away.
right, fine. I would say
Well,
the 6-hour long lines are scaring people away.
Tiger.
So,
Yeah,
that
well,
pandemic.
yeah, well that too. But it seems like those their ticket sales are still going strong, so there'll be another slew of people out there this weekend. So the only time they won't
Convinced.
do that will be Texas OU Day. The
Oh
game.
my gosh, I made the
Yeah.
mistake of going to the fair that day.
Yeah, same.
Bad idea.
Worst experience.
Okay,
Never
that's
again.
not necessarily the worst possible idea, but you need to plan it accordingly, and it has to be in a non-pandemic world. Okay, here's how you do it. You take the train because you don't want to fight traffic that day. You
The
only
train
go there.
can be bad too.
You only go there during the game because everybody's in the stadium.
Well, yeah.
You chill for 2 hours and have fun during the game, and then you get the F out of there before they start piling back into the Texas State Fair.
He's right.
We
'Cause
made a
that game.
mistake. That game is long.
Yeah.
We made the
Okay.
mistake of going. Didn't know it was the actual day.
Same. I
And then
didn't.
when we couldn't
yeah.
find parking for like 3 hours, we just left.
I always take the train, but you're getting
Yeah.
the few stops towards the fair. Of course, it gets even worse and more crowded.
Oh,
But
yeah,
no, we
park
didn't.
and ride from
We didn't
Cornell.
know. Yeah, we didn't know either. And I never take a car there. I always take the train. But yeah, we didn't know about the game because I don't keep up with college sports really. And
Here's
I was
one
like,
for you.
I was like, why is it so crowded?
Listen.
Here's one for you. I've actually gone to the Grambling State game. That's fun.
Hey, that's worth it for the halftime show.
Oh yeah, that was fun right there. That
I
was
mean,
a
bigger
Go
than a
on.
game, actually.
That was public school
Yeah,
day.
there happened to be a football game before and after the halftime show, but yeah, that was definitely an experience right there. That was good stuff on that one.
There was a time where my parents pulled me out of school saying I had some doctor's appointment. I was like, why? What's wrong with me? And we pulled up to the fair. I'm like, oh, and they're like, better not say anything to your friends the day after. I'm like, no, I won't. And yeah, I wound up bragging the next day about it.
Well, I've got a couple of birthdays here for you. Then I'll proceed on to get back to my day over here. But turning 63 today,
Oh, so close.
actress Fran Drescher.
Oh no!
We
Can
Lovely.
someone do?
celebrated the
Someone
holiday
do the
season
laugh.
this last year with Fran Drescher. You do recall,
Yeah.
Mike B? She the star of the movie we watched during our Christmas party over at D. Owl's place. This Santa, what is it? Santa's sleigh?
Oh, the one with
Santa Claus? What the heck was it? I think it's Santa's
was-
sleigh.
I know she's been in what was that TV show she was in for a long time?
the nanny.
There you go, the nanny. But
No,
Can
no.
someone do the laugh?
yeah, but
The
my
weird laugh.
Santa's
But
sleigh.
Santa's the
That's-
one
that's
with
the one, yeah.
Goldberg.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Yes,
is.
I know that one.
You remember now,
Yeah.
Mike?
now I
That's a
remember.
weird
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Fran Drescher's in that opening scene, and she may not make it very long.
Yeah, well, I first saw her in the great documentary UHF
Mm-hmm.
with Weird Al Yankovic.
Documentary.
Wow.
Another good one.
I was like, man, even back then, I was like, you know what? She's someone who I'd like to take out for a nice Subway sandwich or something. There you go, right there.
Footlongs, huh?
Yeah. Let's
$5
see.
footlongs.
Let's see here. We also have a couple more birthdays here. Let's see here. We got old school hip hop rapper producer Marley Marl is 58.
Yay.
Let's see here. Rock musician Robbie Takak Go-Go Dolls is 56.
Voodoo dolls. Oh my god.
Good lord, that's all right. We're gonna need to break down. I have a birthday, Mike. Holy cow.
Wait, I got one more.
Okay.
One more here.
I don't know how you can top that.
This one's cool. T-Pain, 36.
Ooh.
He's only 36.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought he was older. Speaking of him, I just watched his new music video. I love that he's a nerd. His music video is all about Animal Crossing. It's amazing.
He actually has a good stream sometimes.
Hmm
I have a birthday, Mike.
Oh, we got.
Let's see, a couple of them. Terrence Johnson, who is a Street Fighter player, a young Street Fighter player, not a kid's ST, but just a bit over that. I don't know where this guy went, but Gary Rad Burns is celebrating his birthday today. Do you remember that Geef player, Mike B?
I remember him.
Yeah, he actually introduced the free play scene to the greater Super Turbo scene throughout the nation, and it disappeared. It promptly disappeared. So he's the reason that Jumpsuit Jesse made his trip down that first time with Haas because Gary and Haas knew each other from back in the day. They're both Geef players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then disappeared. So come on back, Gary. The water is definitely warm. We actually still play that game, and you might like it. Let's see. Killer Queen player Chris is celebrating a birthday today. He of his Dallas Observer article fame. Apparently, he met his now longtime girlfriend while playing Killer Queen. So.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, they're the blonde couple that you see playing Killer Queen on occasion in pre-COVID times. And another Killer Queen player of note, and someone who's near and dear to my heart. She's been on the stream. She was the camera person, or one of the camera people, I guess. Did the videos for Free Play Arcade for a long time. It is Gabby's birthday, so big special shout out to Gabby. She's living in Florida now with Matt, and they're just great people. Every time we did one of the Free Play Arcade official podcasts, she would be there, hitting the mics and doing the camera work, and then she would come and play Killer Queen with us. She absolutely loved that game, and she absolutely loved Dr. Mario. So if you search our YouTube, you can see a whole segment where I indeed am playing her favorite game, Dr. Mario, with her.
Chris, also on this date in 1982, Cheers premiered on television.
Well,
Oh,
82. I thought it was in the 70s, to be honest with you.
I thought it was late '80s.
Oh, it was Cheers, and that was a damn good show right there. I enjoyed some Cheers.
We visited that bar when we went to Boston.
I went by it. I didn't actually.
3
go
years
into
ago.
Cheers. How was it in there?
It was really cool. I
Did
mean,
they all yell for Mike B?
oh, he has his own seat there.
Oh my god!
There's a name on it and everything. No, it was cool. Of course, I didn't watch the show when we went to visit, but I did start watching it after we visited. So.
That is that's where Woody Harrelson really got into the
watching
public's
Frasier
spotlight. Oh, and Fraser Crane, yes. Yeah, there's a lot to Cheers. It's definitely a good one.
That one guy who does a lot of voices for Pixar movies was in that show too.
John Katzenberg? How do you say his last name?
Rasenberger?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yes.
I don't know who that is.
He's the mailman, right?
Yep, he's doing.
He plays Handman.
That's Mike's excuse for an impression of him.
Well, that'll do it for me, folks. I'm gonna get back to the work over here. So.
Yep. I don't
See y'all.
see any other requests from you, Mike, from the chat. So yeah, it looks like you're done for the day. Congrats.
Peace.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Nothing else for you to
Go
do.
dolls.
Nope, that's it.
Because there are no other requests coming from the chat.
Well, I gotta go either way. So.
All right, see you later, man.
All right, we'll see you tonight.
Bye.
All right, back to VGM Wednesday
Okay.
Live. What you got for us, Ian? Sneaking. Been sneaking all these
Yeah.
game checks in here as it is. Whoa, there we go.
Oh, whoops! Sorry, that was.
Oh.
Mike, you didn't see that. He indeed did not see that. Excellent.
That was his flyer.
Even
I
better.
believe it was for.
Yeah, that's your requested
So-
project.
Yeah. Still hasn't paid me though, Mike. Jeez.
Wow. What
Um,
a cheapskate.
no, all that work.
Hard
so, sneaky. We're being sneaky today. Shoutouts goes to Lump Sum for requested this one like last week actually. He said it as a joke because it was Among Us.
Uh-huh.
It's getting really popular.
Oh yeah.
But I thought it was like it's a cool thing. We haven't done that before, like just sneaky games or games where you kind of sneak
This
around.
this was very hard for me just because I've never played many stealth type games. I know them, and of course, I knew everyone was going to add a lot of Metal Gear. So I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll add
Metal
one
Gear.
Metal Gear from Ultimate Smash Bros. But yeah, I knew everyone's going to fill it up with Metal Gear, and um, I did think of Assassin's Creed, so I added some of that.
Oh yeah,
I
Assassin's
played
Creed.
a little Assassin's Creed, not a lot of it.
There's a lot more sneaking around in other games more than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Like even just like parts of it. Like I just thought of the Batman Arkham City or
Yeah.
Asylum this morning because of the Scarecrow stage where you can't be seen. So
I gotta play
yeah,
that.
that one's a fun one. But Among Us is being one of the big popular ones now. I figure we do. I need to kind of make it a little quick today, so this one
Mm-hmm.
seems like a quick one anyway to do. Like Among Us, and then the original sneaky game. I wonder, is this the original sneaky game? Like I can't
Metal
imagine.
Gear 1. Yeah, it's among them for sure.
When
There's
did this come out?
probably
Metal Gear.
actually I played an Atari game that involves some sneaking as well, but I can't recall what it was. So it's a
Like
mechanic that's
there's no
been
hide and
around.
seek game from like old Atari days.
I remember playing not a hide and seek game, but I remember playing a sneaking game from the Atari era, but I can't recall what it was. I just remember being confused by it because it was too. They bit off more than they could chew, the game designers, because they're trying to make a sneaking mechanic without any text on the screen and without any ability to communicate how to play the game to the players. So yeah, it made as much sense as the Infinite Forest sequence in Metal Gear did.
Hmm. See, the first game that I remember playing that had sneaking in it was this game called I forgot the name and I thought it was Narc for the longest time, or like SWAT, but it was a game called Rescue for the NES. I don't know if anyone ever remembered that, but
I didn't.
it had like a sneaking portion of the game. It was weird because it had like three different parts of the game, where there was a sneaking portion, and then you get up to the building, and then you can snipe people from windows. I thought that was kind of cool. And
Fascinating.
then you can have this weird 3D, but not really 3D gameplay. It was like you get to move around in a map,
Hmm.
and like if there was somebody on the screen, you shoot. It felt like I guess it felt like Friday the 13th, because
Uh
the
Ooh,
Friday the 13th was the same way,
speaking of, I have
oh.
news.
right?
I have news about that. So I
Uh huh.
figured out, since no one's surprised, least of all me, I figured out my Halloween costume this year. I'm gonna be
I
in
thought Halloween was canceled
Jason.
this year.
Well, for the
Well,
the
trick or
Denton
treaters, yeah.
Denton slash Richardson party for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Um,
a Free Play Denton party at Free Play
uh,
Richardson on October 23rd.
hmm But I figured out what I was gonna do. Fine. I'm gonna be Jason from the NES version.
Excellent, excellent,
So
excellent,
I'm
excellent.
very excited.
I'm excited too.
Like
Oh, the weird color one.
I
Hmm.
love that one. Like I know it's the weirdest colors
This
imaginable for him, but God, I love that color so much. And the funny thing
purple
is,
and blue.
so I've been recently playing a lot of the newer game again on PS4 because it's actually really fun. The new one. The only downside to that game is it's still for some reason for a game that's been out for like I think 3 years now. It's still very glitchy. Um, and for some reason, there's always little kids playing it. I'm like, do y'all even know this movie or any of these movies? Uh, but you can play as any of the Jasons from the movies. Um, the one I play the most though is part 3 because there's an alternate skin which is the color scheme of the NES Jason.
Nice.
But
I mean,
I'm
that's even
very
creepier, I
excited.
think.
It's funny because like I didn't expect that because when I played it, I'm like skin like you can change your skin, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they actually put retro Jason here. Um,
There's a picture of a guy here with like a 8-bit knife, which I think is hilarious. You got to make an 8-bit knife now for your costume.
See, I'm trying to figure it out because I know I got the wardrobe figured out. For the mask, I'm probably just gonna get a regular hockey mask and just paint the crap out of it. Because I love doing little projects like that. Like I did find one already made on Etsy, but I don't know if I'm willing to spend $45 on that when I can just most likely do one myself and be proud of it.
Buy a mask for like $1. A Jason mask
Exactly.
for $45?
Well, that it's already it's already colored blue and all that. So I thought about it just to not be productive, but I'm like, you know what? This is a little project I can do, and like I love like making some of my cosplay at least, or at least try to make props. So yeah, I'm just gonna get a regular hockey mask, paint it. For the weapon, I was either just gonna get a regular, plastic machete, and maybe paint that to what it looks like in the game. Because in the game, it also looks weird. It's like white. I think someone said it looked like a toothbrush, and I remember seeing it. I'm like, it does kind of look like a toothbrush for some reason.
Yeah, I remember it was like one of the VGM Wednesdays. I'm like, this thing always looked like a toothbrush to me. I don't know why.
Said use a real machete. Oh.
Yelling at the kids to brush their teeth. Brush your teeth.
But yeah, that's my idea so far. So I'm excited.
Man, I can't imagine Halloween being. Well, it's gonna be so different this year.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And the last time I actually trick or treated was when I was like 19. I was still doing that, and I'm like, yeah,
19? I think we talked about this last time too.
Yeah, we
I was like,
did.
19.
So after that, I'm like, well, what else is there to do on Halloween now that I'm too old to trick or treat? So that's when I discovered, like, oh, you can stay. Well, this was before I started drinking, actually. So I'm like, I didn't know what to do. And then college happened. And yeah, my roommates, we had a Halloween party, and that's when I discovered, like, oh, we can do this instead.
Oh, we should stop down for the chat for just a moment. I don't know that he was here in the chat when we gave him the shout out, but
Jason
happy
Palmer.
belated birthday to Jason Palmer.
Jason, happy
Hey.
birthday. Belated birthday.
Mm-hmm.
If
we-
Delph can walk around in his underwear, you can use a real machine. Oh my god.
Okay. I asked before I walked around in my underwear, and I was given permission. And I know we have a weapons policy, so you're not allowed to actually walk around with a real machete.
I wasn't even gonna consider that.
Uh-huh. We know what you're up to, Tiger
Underwear,
Lily.
okay.
Oh gosh. Oh, so I added that Zelda song because that's the first thing I thought of when it came to stealth. Because, I guess that's the first time I did any type of stealth mission in a game, and it was pretty fun and nerve-wracking when you had to get to Zelda without getting caught by the guards. It was very scary.
Let's see.
What did you add, Chris? I think Mr. Mosquito. I thought that was like a really cool one.
Mr.
Yes.
Mosquito.
That is a stealthy game, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bizarre game that I actually I never played it before this week, and it was actually Brandy who showed me this game, the Killer Queen player. And yeah, you sneak around as a mosquito, stinging a family and driving them insane. A family of 3.
What?
Yes.
That sounds fun.
It is fun.
Very Japanese.
It's very Japanese. I would put it in the same category of weird ass game that would be Katamari Damacy, although the gameplay is wildly different. You're flying around stealthily as a mosquito, stabbing everybody. There's lots of like weird, inappropriate scenes, and in fact, in honor of the Ryan Reynolds of Foot Locker, the music that I actually added was from Stage 4, aka Go Sting the teenage daughter in the bathtub sequence.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is a weird game, but it is strangely compelling and fun. So, and there's no actual nudity, but it was a lot of fun. I did not finish it. I did get to the bizarre Stage 4, and I played Mr. Mosquito. No re-releases of that one, and given its subject matter, probably never going to get a re-release. But It was a fun one. I added that one. What else did I add? I added some songs from when I thought of sneaking. I thought of Abe's Odyssey. There's actually a button where as you hold to
Oh.
sneak, kind of like takes his little tender steps. And that game
Yeah,
actually,
Oddworld, I see that in there.
yeah. Oddworld Abe's Odyssey has some incredible music. A lot of it is kind of ambient and sneaking friendly. So I didn't want to completely put us to sleep, so I added a lively one and one of the more sneaky ones that's not too long. Oh, and the Super Metroid one that I added there is it's when you first arrive on the planet and you're sneaking around and the little eyes see you.
Yeah, there was a couple. There was another Metroid. Was there Metroid Zero or something on here? It was earlier.
There's definitely some sneaking in Metroid Zero mission as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Metroid Zero. I saw it was Game Boy Advance, and my first thought was like, "Oh, is Game Tracks adding these? Game Tracks being a portable handheld overlord."
Yep.
Yes, making his own now.
And part-time
Yeah.
volleyball.
What is he doing? He's-
Time
oh yeah. I liked yesterday's idea that he be the volleyball for the giant robot. The what is it? The Robotech robot that's in Japan right now.
The Gundam?
Oh.
The Gundam, yes, the Gundam,
Gundam,
that's in
yeah.
Japan.
Oh, what is this?
I thought that said Ghostbuster. Ghost Runner. That sounds
Oh.
cool.
Yeah, this is a slightly newer game. I remember playing the demo for this, and it's a ninja, but it's more parkour-ish, where you're just running around and you're trying to not get hit like at all, or not even be seen. But it's all like, cyberpunky.
It reminds me a lot of Total Nuclear Annihilation.
Yes,
Oh yeah, I hear it. For
who has
sure.
a great soundtrack.
Oh my
Mhm.
god, yes. Not a lot of sneaking in that game, but yeah.
Oh no, oh no.
Are there any sneaking?
I like how that table
pinballs?
is very, very loud. Is there sneaking in? Kind of.
That's a big stretch. I don't know.
Well, it would have to be like mission based.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't particularly.
Is there like a physical thing where you have to sneak the ball somewhere?
I mean, there's lots of those where you gotta like do some odd combinations to get a ball into a different place. There's actually a capture hole in the Pirates of the Caribbean table.
Yes,
Oh.
that.
Yeah, where you have to flip
The
the flipper to
swamp, right?
reveal the hole. Yes.
I've gotten that on accident, and I thought that was like an awesome mechanic. I wonder if there's anything like that has. Actually, there's that whole pinball game that is like reversed. That's not
is
really
it-
sneaky
is it-
though. That's like part of it.
Yeah, it's like Black Hole or it's one of those triple
Yeah.
decker pinball tables.
Triple deck?
Yeah. So there's a table underneath the table.
I thought that was awesome.
Hmm.
Where you get it underneath and it goes backwards. So the ball goes away from a black hole. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was in Denton,
Hmm.
and Denton had some like really cool tables, unique tables.
Yeah, Denton Heat's actually going to be in Richardson during the Halloween party,
Nice.
which I grew to appreciate the gameplay of that one. It's a unique table, interesting ramps.
Difficult. I always like the shadow there, and
Mhm.
hopefully the shadow is somewhere. I'm sure it's in Arlington.
Yeah, it's somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
Let's see.
But yeah, that's a favorite, of course.
I'm really trying to think if there's any kind of pinball game that has some kind of
Sneaking mechanics.
sneaking involved. Yeah.
Maybe Stranger Things? I don't know.
Yeah, there's probably a sneaking mission in Stranger Things somewhere, but it just doesn't ring a bell at the moment.
But no, that one
It could
secret
happen. There could
spot
be a
in
Metal Gear
Pirates-
themed pinball table. Some
Oh.
inventive
Oh,
designer
yeah.
could pull it off.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's
you
the
were saying.
coolest part is making the mechanics work for some sort of theme or to have it represent something else.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the coolest part about pinball. All right, so we got the easy one out of the way.
Very easy.
Is Keaton going to be piloting the Metal Gear?
Oh, yeah, we can actually.
Slap her right
Oh,
in the
this has
cockpit.
text in it. Or text. This has words.
That's Snake Eater.
Oh, Metal MGS 3.
Was that the PSP game? No, Snake Eater. That's 3. Sorry.
I think it
Turn
was
it up
still.
a little bit.
Was it still PS2?
Maybe.
Let's see. GS. It's a 2. I was very surprised that the MGS 2. Or not, and not even Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 2, like the old NES game. It's some really good music. I didn't
Wow,
realize.
could this song be any more James Bond?
I know, right?
Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, here you go. Metal Gear Solid 3 OST. There is a lot of kind of that spy type music that I've heard in a couple of these. Like even Sly Cooper has some very kind of spy instead of thief kind of sneaky music. Sounds very much like a James Bond. I mean, I guess he's sneaking around too, but where does one pilot this Metal Gear? I'm assuming.
Oh, the cockpit. Sorry, the right side from our perspective. Yeah, just right in there. Because I'm pretty sure that compartment reveals itself if they need be, if there's some sort of emergency.
I wonder how do we get it to look like inside.
Oh,
Like this?
so epic.
Any other game that has kind of like a sneaking. What's the latest sneaky game? Oh well, I guess that would be
Among Us.
But is that really sneaky, or is that more?
Kinda.
I
I
don't
mean,
know if
you,
stealth play is like a big deal in that game.
it's more like basically. I don't know because I haven't played it, but I know the gist, and I mean, I guess you're just basically sneaking around killing people without being called the imposter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And even if you are caught, you can just kind of like lie your way out of it sometimes.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers has its, or Super Mario World has its enemies that sneak around. The boos.
Yeah. I did add the the ghost stage from Super Mario World.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not really a Mario sneaking stage. That's a ghost sneaking stage, which I think is a fun
Yeah.
turn on it.
I added some horror games, of course, Friday the 13th. But I also added some Dead by Daylight, because
Yeah.
you technically are sneaking around trying to fix these generators without being caught by the killer.
That was another fun game.
It's
It's
frustrating,
got
but
so
fun.
many DLCs and everything too.
Yes, they're cheap too. Like they're very cheap DLCs. The only two I've bought were the Michael Myers DLC and the Stranger Things DLC.
I'm really surprised that they have so many, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, I mean, people have
I
been
think
wanting
they
the
have
other ones.
Stranger Things too, right?
Yeah, I bought that one. It comes with the Demogorgon, Steve, and Nancy.
Joe. Oh, Joe. What am I thinking? Joe.
Wait, who's Joe?
I don't know. Maybe that's his actual name. But yeah, Steve.
So no Barb DLC.
Dad Steve. Oh, she's still missing.
We'll find her. We'll find her.
Justice for
The
Barb.
latest one that came out. The latest one was Silent Hill DLC.
Oh yeah.
We get
I'm
Pyramid
surprised
Head.
at some of the titles that they have there. Yeah, they have Pyramid Head, and they also have what's the other weird one that a Scream? It's just like
Ghostface.
Really? I didn't realize Ghostface.
Well, it's
was
funny
like a
when you
big
read
deal.
when you read the description of it. I guess they didn't. I don't. It was kind of confusing reading the description for the Ghostface DLC because it's not basing it off the original movie. But I think it's just because the fact that there's not one Ghostface has always been, someone else under that costume. So I guess
Yeah,
they
multiple.
figured like, oh, we can just make up another story for it. Yeah, they have Ghostface, Pyramid Head, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, the Demogorgon, and that's it. And then they have a lot of original killers in it. I've always voted for having Chucky in it, but of course everyone's like, no, he's too short, he'll win easily.
Too
I'm like,
tiny.
yeah, but still, it would be fun. And people have been wanting Jason, but since it's the Friday 13th game, that'll be, they can't really get him for that.
The rights, I can't imagine.
Especially since they're kind of both the same game in a way. Like, I play both simultaneously, but I will always say that Dead by Daylight's way better, only because it's much easier to actually win than in Friday the 13th.
D. Owls has his Robotnik sequel costume. I am
Sonic?
intrigued.
Ooh.
Intrigued.
Top Robotnik.
Sonic.
Robotnik's pretty hard to top. That is true.
I haven't been thinking about
Man,
that at all.
Yeah. It used to be a big deal, like at work, and I always try to think of something. It was always just a funny costume, never a real, I don't know, costume.
I always
Although
try
funny
to. I always try to
costumes are
do.
still- Okay.
I always try to do costumes that I know I'll wear again at least.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to do actual cosplay.
Are you in stage 4 of Mr. Mosquito, Tiger Lily?
Sorry. I'll mute myself. I'm just watching that thing.
It's either somebody frying an egg. It's DFC frying an egg right now in the back.
Gotcha. Well, this one is a shout out to Brian, aka Lump Sum.
Yeah. Brion.
Oh, Brian, sorry.
Yeah. Actually, he should be one of these. One of the guys. in the
Oh,
mix.
absolutely.
Oh, I'll make him Mr. Red over here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Heck, you could put the entire DFC in there.
I could. Who's getting stabbed in the back here, though? Who's stabbing who? This one
well,
was very
it's
quick. Let me see it.
yeah, Faulkner and Derek are definitely involved in the backstabbing, but I'm not sure who's getting who. They're pretty much trading off all the time.
VGM here. That was a quickie. Then
So-
for this.
Do you have a hard out
You
today?
good? Not a specific time, but I did want to try to get some work done before the afternoon. At least I promised some work to be done before the afternoon. And I guess the earlier afternoon, the better, because they need to turn something in today.
Gotcha.
So this shouldn't take too much. Let's see. We do have 74 more songs.
Okay, so whenever
Meaning
those are done.
we
whenever-
probably can't. Yeah, we can't get to Mike B's choices.
Oh
all.
no, sorry, Mike.
Did he actually put one on there?
No.
I don't think he'd figure out a good one for this theme.
Yeah, finger lifting isn't his strongest suit.
Finger leg.
I got 7 minutes. Yeah.
7 minutes until the cup of noodles are done.
Yes. Until I get back to work. Yay.
Oh yes.
I remember that struggle lunch.
I had
the reason I got to play X-Men vs Street Fighter every day.
My lunch today was jalapeno sausage. It was good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember if you're in need of some books, I guess. I don't know why you could just put it on your Kindle or something. But anyway, if you need a book for whatever
Boo,
sake, or you
Kindles.
need your tires rotated, or any kind of brake job or anything like that, then head on out to the Longview, Texas Public Library and automotive shop where Tiger Lily works. And yeah, use the promo code VGMWednesday.
Yes.
Get 15% off your tires rotation.
Get a complimentary cup of noodles while you wait. We only have one flavor, so deal with it.
Stale Longview water. That's the flavor.
I probably won't be able to make it out tonight.
Oh no, not defending the women's ST title at VGM Wednesday. I'm sorry, at Wrestling Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Shannon's gonna have some words for you.
I know. I want to play, but yeah. Trying to save money right now, but I'll be in Arlington on Friday for sure.
I gotta get you on the Patreon.
I know. I just need another job.
That's the money-saving way for us crazy people.
And the beer loyalty cards now.
That's true. There's that too. So that will help.
But yeah, no Tiger Lily tonight, no Tiger Lily promo. But I'll be around Friday.
Yes, Friday, Mike B's DJing at Free Play Arlington. Adam, the bartender, is carrying a $300 open bar starting at 7 p.m. So.
Dang, again?
Wow.
I mean, he does it every month. So, and he forgot to tell me last month. So I made sure to say, tell me, let me know, and I will give as much notice as I can to everybody. So yeah. It should be a good time. Mike's DJing, he's taking requests. And the party starts at 7. But it means it's a good time to come out to Free Play Arlington, nonetheless. And, Adam's doing this out of his own fun, so tip him generously. I know I will.
We love Adam.
Absolutely.
He's amazing.
Remember one of the cooler DJ Mike B Free Play, I guess, days was like a 90s night in Denton. It was like last year. That's like a really cool. I like that playlist.
Yeah, I remember that was one of his more inspired sets.
Maybe I just responded to the 90s stuff a little better.
Well, we hear a lot of the 80s.
Yeah.
I've actually picked up quite a few songs that I enjoy off of Mike B's archaic hits of an exact 7-year period from the 80s/90s. Return of the Mac has had me dancing my way to the Tarrant County locations a time or two. That's definitely all of him. What did you think about the games of our life idea? Ian, do you want to hear or?
Yeah. Do we have somebody to jump in?
I figured I should probably start first, just to sort of get the tone set, and I definitely want to record. I talked to Jeremy about it, Withers, boat guy.
Yeah.
We're gonna record his segment, because I definitely want to know what he thinks. Tiger Lily wants a stab as well, but I figured. So did you happen to see the questions, the questionnaire?
Yeah, I saw a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is we did something similar for the podcast, and our favorite radio station, The Ticket, has been doing it during the pandemic, but they've been applying it to music. I just made a few alterations and made it apply to arcade games. But yes, it's a few questions that sort of like determine or help you illustrate what your favorite or your gaming history is, the games that mean something to you. So the questions are.
Oh, sorry, I gotta go, but
Have a good time, Tiger Lily.
thank you.
All
Catch y'all later.
See you, Laura.
Bye.
Wow. So HD Atomica can make a VGM Wednesday. Send a picture. You're definitely in the DFC arm's length transaction. No, is that?
Oh, dude.
Is that HD Atomica? I think it's arm's length
Send me a pic via
Yeah, got it right.
send me a pic on Discord. I don't know why I'm saying it out loud and typing it at the same time. Just in case they can't hear me.
So here are the questions. What's an arcade game that you hate? An arcade game that you think is overrated? What's an arcade game that you think is underappreciated? An arcade game that you love? An arcade game you can play over and over again? The arcade game that made you fall in love, or the game that made you fall in love with arcades? An arcade game that changed your life, an arcade game that surprised you, an arcade game that is your guilty pleasure, an arcade game you should have played by now, and the greatest game to play live in an arcade. So that's the questionnaire, and I went ahead and spent, I don't know, a couple days filling it out, just make sure I thought about it. And that's like the key, is like, this has to represent like how you actually feel. So
Yeah. That's a pretty heavy. Couple of those.
it can be.
Change your life.
I
I have
some
answers
of
in
those.
my head right away, but is it one of those things where you give this questionnaire to somebody ahead of time?
Ahead of time,
or-
yeah. Yeah, that way.
Okay.
Because some of these are, like you said, they're deep, they're heavy. There's some that pop up
Yeah.
right away, I'm sure. But even the list itself probably evolves as you look at it and consider it over and over again. I know mine did.
I thought it was gonna be one of those like quick. What was that show? Not Behind the Actor Studio or whatever, where he asks the same questions.
I mean, it is kind of
It's
like
kinda
that,
on
but it's
yeah,
just for
on
one
the
person.
spot, but not really on the spot because like everyone kind of knows the questions nowadays. Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And they would need to be for different games, the Mental Lizard, because yes, I could definitely make every single one apply to just one game. But
Street Fighter.
that's no fun. That's no fun. Yeah, let's see. I'll go ahead and take it first and show you how it goes. So
Yeah.
the arcade game that I hate. I've definitely mentioned this before. Like I said, we did something similar to in the official free play arcade podcast, and that is versus Dr. Mario. I've tried so many times to I have given that game its fair shot. It's literally the worst puzzle game I've ever played. I can only compare it to its contemporaries. It's definitely coasting off of its IP. Hey, it has Mario in it. It makes no sense. It's convoluted to get in. There's like 10 different choices you have to have before you start the game. It's really slow. It's got a limited color palette. Like, just like I said, I can only compare it to its contemporaries, which is every puzzle game I've ever played, and it's easily the worst. I can't think of anyone that's even close to that bad. And I know it's some people's favorites, so I don't hate. This isn't me hating on anybody else liking the game, but for me, game that I hate, it's versus Dr. Mario. That's that one. I've given it more than its fair shake. You can actually see it's her birthday. Go ahead.
So it's mostly because it's Dr. Mario, not because it's like versus or that it's an arcade.
Yeah, it's not versus Dr. Mario is not much different than Dr. Mario at all. But yeah, Dr. Mario. Technically an arcade game in the versus Dr. Mario form, or you could say Dr. Mario for the Play Choice 10. Either way, both are just nails on a chalkboard for me.
Let's see.
Do you play that game, Ian? Do you have a affinity for it at all?
No, it's not really love or hate. I do know a friend of mine is also not a fan, and I can kind of see why. It's not like the best puzzle game. But yeah, I can't really say like I go out of my way to like hate it.
Well, can you defend it as not the worst? Can you think of any puzzle game that's worse?
I'm sure there's some other terrible. Yoshi's Cookie, maybe. I'm sure that one was fun for some other people too, but that one.
Can't
seemed...
say I've played that one.
Yeah, I'm sure there are other terrible puzzle games, but no.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
I
My friend who hates it.
dispute. Like, yes, there are other terrible ones, but I have not played one that's
Yeah.
worse. I've
Yeah.
played hundreds, and that's worse than show easily.
What's difficult about it too is like the music is very, I don't memorable, I guess. So even if you're not playing it and you hear it in the background, it's probably gonna be grating music to
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't like it.
Yeah, I remember one track playing over and over again. It sounds like Oh Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, like I need a Canadian theme song in my Dr. Mario. But anyway, that's the game I hate though versus Dr. Mario. More controversial ones to start us off before we get to the cool stuff. Game that I think is overrated. For me, it came right down to two games, and they're both versus games: Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and CVS 2. But overall, I can dig a one-on-one, even if it's like CVS 2 is a one-on-one fighter. So I feel like I can understand a little bit of that, but like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is so complex and so esoteric. Now, don't mistake me. I do not hate the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 scene. I very much 100% support it, and am very happy to run events for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and will keep doing them as long as people keep delivering that game. This isn't the game that I hate, but I don't understand quite the love for a game where most of the action happens off screen. There's a bunch of infinites. I appreciate that people appreciate it, but holy cow, is that game complex, and you get blown up if you don't know what you're doing. And maybe some of that's just the talent disparity of the Dallas scene being very mature and very talented, and me not even understanding what the 6 buttons do. But wow, it's I can't imagine. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that's my pick for a game I think is overrated.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those, it's had a lot of time to, I don't know, gain talent, marinate, you know what I mean? Like, people, I wouldn't say they solved it, but there definitely is a large gap in skill for that game. It's not as easy to catch up.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine introducing a new player to that game. It's impenetrably complicated, and again, action happening off screen drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a history with that one?
It was something that I did play actually a lot of at GameWorks.
Mhm.
That was like one of the last types of is the last type of fighter, because it started with, for me, X-Men versus Street Fighter, just because I like crossovers. I like anything with like a lot of characters. I say that, but I'm not a big fan of like MOBAs necessarily. But yeah, I've always had a history with. It started with X-Men, I guess. The X-Men Children of the Atom? Yeah, it was Children of the
Yes,
Atom.
that's the first in the series.
Yeah. And then the first time I saw that mixed with like Alpha 1 or Alpha Sprites, I was like, whoa, there's a game that has X-Men and Street Fighter characters? That was like mind blowing. So I thought that was neat and kind of followed it. Not closely, but it was every time I saw something like that in the in the arcades, it was something that felt like it was easy to mash out buttons. You know what I mean? But then when you play against somebody who knows how to not mash buttons, yeah, it's bad times.
Yeah, a game I haven't been able to get into. It's not the game I hate. I don't actually hate the game, but it as many people rate it as one of the best of all time, and I just don't get it. It's beyond me. But let me go back to my list here. Let's see. Arcade game I think is underappreciated. Okay, we're gonna get away from the fighting games here. My pick here is in Free Play Fort Worth now, I believe, and it's been in all the free plays. It's Missile Command, a trackball game from, I believe, 1980. Do you play this one?
I wouldn't say. I'm pretty sure I have. Trackball, yes, I have.
It's
Like
got
old Atari Classic.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is difficult.
it's difficult. The graphics are rudimentary. There's lines coming down the screen, but this is a game it's difficult, but it's got the trackball and it implements the trackball perfectly. Is it? Did we lose our
Mhm.
music somehow? So it implements the trackball very well.
Yeah.
Very precise controls. Um, you're you're defending 6 cities against a nuclear attack, and the nuclear bombs are literally just lines coming down the screen. They're coming down at a quick pace. There's a few other things you can shoot at too, planes that are dropping their own nuclear bombs. They kind of split into things. There's all these chain reactions, explosions happening. I like explosions. That's cool. Now they're 1980s versions of explosions, so they're again rudimentary graphics. Um, but it when you see high level missile command play, it is sublime. Basically, someone takes the trackball and spreads their defense explosions across the screen, and it causes a detonation across the screen that then triggers a chain reaction of detonations, and all the nuclear bombs end up blowing each other up in the air, and then you pick up a couple
Mhm.
stragglers and complete the stage. It's really impressive to watch. Like as you said, that's a bit of a hard game to get at the beginning when you're playing kind of one of the original tower defense games.
Mhm.
Um, but man, when you see someone just rock that game, it is amazing. And I wish we had more high level players in the free play arcade community, because I just adore seeing players of a high level for Missile Command. And this game has a lot on its mind too, because it was in Terminator 2, but it famously doesn't have an ending, because there is a moral to it. There's no winner in nuclear war. So it's the Russians are bombing America, and there's nothing you can do. Like, you fend it off as long as you can, and then the world gets blown up.
Was that one of the first vector-based games?
No, it's
or
not a vector
arcade
game.
pads?
It's a sprite game.
Oh,
Yeah.
what am I thinking of? That was like a vector. That was maybe a vector version of that. Now that I'm seeing it, the line wasn't like a straight line.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a few. Battle Zone is one I thought about putting on the list.
Next zone, sorry. I'll look up Fredbook commands.
No worries. But yeah, that's my pick for most underappreciated arcade game, Missile Command. Arcade game that I love. I mean, it's my first love, my first ex. Ms. Pac-Man. I don't. If you're giving me pizza, and Ms. Pac-Man isn't involved, then your pizza doesn't taste as good. It's just a game that I've grown up with. This is as synonymous with my childhood and my upbringing and even my adulthood as, my teddy bear that I cannot remember getting, that is in it's in my bedroom right now, and like it's also, I have pictures of it in my crib. Like, I can't imagine my life without Ms. Pac-Man. I love the game so much. It's perfect the way it is with the speed chip. I want it all slowed down and boring. But just a sublime experience. I can put on any tunes and listen to it. I can hear those iconic sounds from Ms. Pac-Man any day of the week. I just adore the game forever, and I know I always will.
Tempest. That might be what I was thinking of.
Tempest is a vector. Tempest is an early vector game, and it's an amazing game too.
I don't know why I thought Missile Command was vector. Maybe it felt like that would be an easy one, because I mean it is kind of what, physics, not really physics, but a straight line. Whenever I think of a straight line like that, I think of pixel.
Yeah, and there are lines, so yeah, the way the lines come down, the nuclear bombs. Any thoughts on Ms. Pac? Are you with me on that one?
That was one that I wasn't. Well, it's not a game that was my era of games when I went to the arcades. Like, there was always something else to play around that time. It was hard to jump into Miss Pac-Man or like Pac-Man at all when there was the game that clearly steps out of my mind whenever I think of like old arcade games. It's always like it was in a bowling alley that I went to. It was definitely that Darth Vader game, or it was always a game that had like a wheel, like what's that, Spy Hunter or Road Blaster?
Road Blasters, yeah.
It was always
Road
it was
Blasters
always
has
one
great
of those
music.
things that I gravitated towards. Just because it was very different, like I've seen a joystick before, maybe, but like, dude, a wheel? That was very different. Any game that had like kind of like, I guess, a different peripheral on it always attracted me as a kid.
Yeah, I can understand that. For me, Ms. Pac was just always the game that was at every single pizza shop, and
Yeah.
I'd love to get me some pizza. And while I waited on it, man, 1/4 Ms. Pac-Man, I was in heaven. It was the greatest. Arcade game you can play over and over again. You knew this would appear on my list at some point, so might as well get rid of it here. It is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. There's a bunch of games I could put as the game I can play over and over again. I mean, I work at an arcade, right? This is sort of my job, and I wouldn't have it if I didn't absolutely love it. But for the past 5 years, it's hard to tear me off that game. Like, when I lose, I want to hit start and play again. When I win, I can't wait to the next round. It's quick, as the name implies, Super Turbo. It's cheesy. It's tongue-in-cheek in places. It's got a rudimentary enough concept and character development that I can sort of make up my own story where I want to. Where Mike B can't throw reversal uppercuts and Zangief is secretly Kerry Von Erich. Like, it can just mean whatever you want it to mean to you. It's a lot of fun. It's so quick. There's a lot of room for development, but it's not so absurdly complex that you can't get into the game. It's just perfect for introducing new players to 2D fighting games in general. And there's a reason it's such an all-time classic. Super Turbo, I cannot play the game enough. I just play it over and over and over and over again. Ask Adam. He has to throw me out at like 3 in the morning from Free Play Arlington whenever I'm out there. So
That one's definitely one that it's like a blank canvas, kind of like empty canvas. Like, you can do whatever you want in that game, and then when you have somebody else kind of doing it like with you, it's no longer about the game. It's like totally like the other player. It's like a sandbox for 2 players to go against each other.
yeah, and the game is jank and busted, and I still love it. Even like, that's part of why I love it, because if I'm playing my character, if I'm playing Dalsum and I'm blowing people up with them, that can get boring, because I don't want to just dominate everybody. I want to have good competitive games. Then I can just pick a radically different character, and they play insanely different. It's not like I have a concept of the fundamentals of the game. And at this point, we're getting there, but like, Tekken Tag Tournament, I could pick any character, and you could give me a random character with random moves. In fact, there is one of those in Tekken Tag Tournament, and I will still just destroy everybody because I'm so in tune with the conventions of the game. There's not enough in Super Turbo for that. It's just every character is a different, completely janky mess, and it all kind of mixes together. And I think it's a bit of serendipity. I don't think that the greatest programmers of all time made that game. I think they tweaked and layered code on code, and they got a little lucky, and they had a good job. They did a good job of putting the right game at the right time. But for whatever reason, I love it, and I can play it over and over and over again.
Builds communities too. There's not like many games that well, actually there are a lot of games, but for some reason that game, and just I guess fighting games in general, builds like a pretty strong.
Let's see.
Most improved, wasn't it? Right, according
What?
to Dallas ST scene most improved.
Oh,
I saw
that
that post.
Riz's
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to that particular episode. I think he had on Hakuto. Was that the one that they're
Oh yeah.
referencing it?
Think
We are
so.
most improved, but we still have a long way to go. Zero majors outside of our own
Yeah.
area that we've won, so we got plenty of work to do.
Turning jitters is different from skill. I think that's a different skill that is a harder thing to learn.
I mean, yes, but I'm also like, I think it's still a skill gap. Like I don't think it's turning jitters that are keeping us
Yeah.
from winning tournaments so far. There are players up there. Like I was talking to Derek, who made it out yesterday, and you know we still are consulting. You know, players like Derek is consulting Mega Man X, right? We
Yeah.
just the skill gap is still there. We have not overcome it yet. We need our mentors right now, and they aren't in Japan. They are stateside because we're still a young scene in the grand scheme of things. But I love it nonetheless. I can play it over and over again, and frankly, I like that there is a staircase to climb up. I like that we can get better. I like that I can have fun with
Yeah.
my friends. Game that made me fall in love with arcades. I have a game here that, to my recollection, has never appeared on the free play floor. It is my first memory of arcade gaming, and I actually did not know the name of this game in my memory.
Hmm.
I went back and found it later, but the game is called Rally X. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, the old it's an Atari racing
Namco.
game.
It's
right?
a Namco.
Namco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find it in many of the Namco Classics release. It's a top-down racing game. Yes, it's it's actually more of a maze game. It's got a racing motif to it. But I remember these are literally my earliest memories. Being in an arcade, my dad's off playing pinball with my mom or whatever. They've left me alone with 1 quarter to find my way. I've put it in the colorful racing game because I want to play a racing game, but I can't sit down in one. I just died way too quickly in pole position. So I'm playing Rally X, and I'm just doing rudimentary zoning things. I'm seeing all these yellow paths, and I'm turning, and I'm turning, and I'm trying to get away from the evil cars, and I don't know what the objective is, but I'm trying to survive. I just wanted this quarter to keep going on. I just want to keep playing the game and keep playing it. And I'm doing all my things, and the whole game stops. It just pauses. And I'm like 3 when I'm doing this. I still have this memory. The game pauses, and everything starts like ticking down. And I'm confused, like what's happening? And then someone comes behind me and says, "Oh my God, you beat the stage!" And it was the first time I can ever remember like succeeding at anything. I didn't understand the objective, but the objective in my mind was to stay away from the enemy cars and the traps until as long as I possibly could. And they said I beat the stage, and that was Rally X. So that is the game that made me fall in love with arcades.
Interesting. Was this also at a pizza place? Where was like the first arcade or cab you remember?
So
Like, where was it at?
I'm ancient. So this was from the golden age of arcades. It was in Keithville, Louisiana, and it was an arcade that was standalone in a shopping center, not unlike Free Play's setup. This also had some pool tables in the back, and I remember my parents telling me that they would take me in my bassinet and put it underneath a pinball machine and then play in the arcade.
Hmm.
So that it predates memory, me playing arcade games, and it was in a place that's not dissimilar from Free Play Arcade.
So it was an actual arcade.
hmm
Nice.
Jason Palmer says Rally X came out at the same time as Pac-Man. It is also a Namco game. They're both maze games, and they also both came out the year I was born, 1980. So it's all kind of right in there. But yeah. Never
So
never
what you're
seen
saying
it.
is you like maze games.
Uh,
Maze games as old as you.
I do, and also I like zoning. Like that's my
Mm.
first memory is just zoning. Like I don't understand the objective in my memory, and I don't know the name of the game, and I understand that they're cars, and I like cars, and I'm just running away from the enemy cars. That's it. Just trying to get away. So I'm zoning.
Sense.
Uh,
Footsies, and all the other games. I always like mention that. Even in Among Us, people were asking because I was So have you played this game, Among Us?
no, let me look it up real quick.
So it's a game of. Have you ever played Werewolf or Mafia?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Basic concept. There are people in a space station. Some of them are imposters. Some of them are actually trying to help the ship. Um, you find you find out who the imposters are, and the imposters try to murder people and kill people. But in this game, the way to murder somebody is you gotta walk up to them and stab them. But everyone has like the same foot speed, so you can kind of like stay away from people so that they can't technically murder you. So it's like playing kind of footsies or trying to bait people because there's some doors that close and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of just like do the shuffle or the dance, try to get them in a room and try to like, juke them pretty much. But yeah, it reminds me of this game. There's footsies in this game, is what it feels like.
I'm looking at it now. It looks fantastic, actually. Yeah,
There's
really,
some
really
movement
simple, innovative gameplay. I like it.
Free to play on a phone, so all of Denton Finance Clan can play it. Maybe Derek.
Can't say I want to play it on a phone, but
Yeah, it's probably terrible it's terrible on a phone, or if you can't really talk to anybody. It's one of those things where
you
I
need to
can't
get the
imagine.
Discord.
I've tried. Yeah, I can't imagine this as a pickup group. I've tried it like a couple times. It's not my favorite way to play it. You have to play it with friends, kind of like playing Jackbox with like people you don't know versus, well, like DFC or whatever.
Maybe we need to get the DFC out there. I've also been looking at games of this variety to put on the rooftop of Free Play Fort Worth. We're going to do Jackbox after we do the Goonies this Sunday on Free Play
Nice.
Fort Worth's rooftop.
It's definitely an easy one to do with like a group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm down to give this one a shot at some point. If you can get the DFC involved, that sounds like a blast to
Yeah.
me.
It's funny. I'm pulling DFC images from the Streets of Rage because that's like the last time we had them on there. Let's see.
I hope I get to see quite a few of them at the Halloween party. I know many of them are buying their tickets now. Having a Free Play Denton themed Halloween party in Free Play Richardson on the 23rd. So fingers crossed for me. I love those guys and gals. Let's see. Arcade game that changed your life. I mentioned it before, but it's Tekken Tag Tournament. And the reason I put it on this list is because this is the game that took me from winning tournaments of a local variety. I won some big tournaments around, like in the GameWorks. I got into Tekken Tag Tournament after I had won a year's worth of free play at GameWorks. So I had the run of it for an entire year, and I thought to myself, if I don't learn a game that's winner stays, loser pays while I have free play, I won't be able to afford to keep coming here anymore, because GameWorks back in the day was expensive. It was like $4 for a racing game, and this is back in the 90s, so that's expensive.
Yeah. That's expensive now. $4 for a game.
Yeah, and this is 20 years ago. So I determined that I would have to learn a fighting game. I had played Tekken 3, PS1, I think it was. It had a nice
PS1.
Yeah, it had a nice robust practice mode, so I could practice all the wrestling moves and King's 10-hit combos and stuff, which aren't really combos. But I just took it upon myself that I'm going to learn a fighting game, and it's going to be this fighting game, much like I'm stubbornly learning Hugo now. And I just wanted to see how far I could go. And I was already like, I'd won a bunch of tournaments, I'd won a bunch of things, so I wasn't. I was trying to see how well I could force it. But I saw a much more robust scene for this game than anything I'd ever seen before. This is how I met. Early on, I met Adrian, Eddie Pistons. I met the primordial Tekken scene of the DFW area back then, and I was part of it. Like, I was part of it. I was at the original Tekken national tournaments.
House of Goons.
Before then, yeah, before then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, it introduced me to traveling to tournaments. It got me out of. There was, before Tekken, you could take a compass and stick it right in Ian's house and then make a circle about, however far it is to Shreveport around, and that's as far as I'd ever traveled. Well, because of Tekken, I traveled first out of my region into Houston and San Antonio and Austin, and then from there I went to places like Iowa and Los Angeles and all around. Just got around the country traveling, playing as much as I could. It got me a bunch of new friends, new experiences I never would have had. My college-y type stories revolve around Tekken Tag tournaments, and it is definitely a game that changed my life.
No, I feel you there. That's the same. Like, there's people that I've known for 10 years because of Street Fighter 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so far, they've been like the friends that I've had maybe the longest now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That I still talk to, like, all the time.
Yeah.
It's longer than some friends from like college and stuff too.
I'm 100% there with you, and I don't know. It's not that I would recommend everybody go out there to Free Play Arlington and pick up Tekken Tag Tournament. It's a complex game. I mean, sure, pay the entry fee and go play what I know to be a great game, but much like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is on my overrated list, that game is complex. Multiple characters, mini conventions. It's tough.
Stances in a game.
Yes, yeah, it's a lot to undertake. I can teach people how to play it, but it's a lot. But it definitely changed my life, so it belongs on the list. Arcade game that surprised me. So I'm actually going pinball here. This was back, it's before free play was a thing. And I didn't know, I wanted to play pinball. I wanted to hang out with my friend. I wanted to hang out with Sarah. We went to Texas Pinball Festival. And they had hundreds of machines out there. They were all in free play. And I hadn't seen any pinball in a decade. I remember not feeling like it's kind of cool and I kind of like it, but I kind of can't afford it. I loved Baby Pac-Man when I was in, I don't know, not even kindergarten, when I was in daycare.
Baby Pac, yeah.
Baby Pac, yeah. But never a straight up pinball table. They were always what my parents did. I never got a chance to get into Addams Family, which I knew was a classic, but I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't afford 50 cents, 75 cents a game when you play and lose 3 balls and that's it. And then I played Star Trek Pinball, the Stern. It's mid 2010s, I think they released that. It was in support of the second Star Trek J.J. Abrams movie, Into Darkness. Khan's in it. It's at Free Play Fort Worth right now. But yeah, the IP, the call-outs are right on point with the Star Trek movie. The game is it's got forgiving ramps. It's got powerful flippers. You can actually make the ramp shots. I remember, like, the games in the 80s were really, they weren't very terribly difficult, but, like, I don't know, you couldn't do the things. Like, getting a multi-ball was like a super, super hard thing in a game like Firepower that you could play at Free Play Arlington.
That was always just random to me until playing pinball at free play.
Yeah. Yeah, it just felt like Wizard mode was the multi-ball. Like, it was so hard to get in those games. and those were the pinball games that I grew up with. And I like the classic like EM era sounds that pinball machines make, the ching 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 ching, those sounds.
Yeah.
But like Star Trek, for the Stern Star Trek, like it really shocked me, like how far pinball had progressed. The mission layout made sense to me. I was able to get multi-balls and juggle them immediately, and everybody around me, even at Texas Pinball Festival, was impressed by how much natural skill I had. Talent. I think that would be talent that I would have. And it just made me immediately seek out, where can I play a modern pinball machine? So that's my game that surprised me, Star Trek Pinball. And now I can play it at Freeport Fort Worth.
That one like slowly became like a fave. Because like you said, it was one of those, it wasn't easy, but it was easy to understand, like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I have to do.
Yeah.
Without having to look anything up.
It's not easy like Lord of the Rings, where you can't possibly lose the ball. But it is easy in that, like, you aim for the lanes and the ramps, and they widen out at the end. They want you to make the ramp shots. They want you to make every shot on the board, if you'd like to. It's not super technical. It's not super hard. Now, if you want to grind away at that game and get the highest score possible, yes, there is a lot of high-end strategy to how you can score points and stack your bonuses like in a lot of modern pinball games. But I think it did a great job. Mike B.
Yeah, I figure we do one with a proper Mike B, considering
the show opener isn't what we're sticking with.
Oh no, we are.
Okay.
He's here, but there's not enough room for face and the hat, so yeah. Plus, we can use this as an opportunity to put whatever people want advertised in the computer. Just thinking ahead.
Maybe not Danny's favorite game.
No, GitHub? Yeah. I love all those coders, man. So many coders. Coding away all night long. Wearing down their keyboards. Let's see.
Moving down the list, arcade game that is my guilty pleasure. I had two that came to my mind, but I wanted to do one that most people haven't played. It's a game I played in the early 90s, one of the first-person games I played in an arcade, one of the only ones. It is a mech battle game, a tank game called T-Mech. And I played a ton of it in the Pierre Bozier Mall. It's not great. It's kind of a early 90s version of Battlezone, has the same joysticks. It had a big, fabulous cabinet where you sat down next to your opponent. You could link 4 together, but I never saw that done. We did have 2 linked together in the Pierre Bozier Mall. And this is before Virtual On, but kind of a similar control scheme.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Virtual On is the one I remember being a mech game in the arcades.
Yes. So probably the experience that you had with Virtual On, I had with T-Mech. And unlike Virtual On, at least I believe this is the case, it was winner stays, loser pays. Like, you pay either way on Virtual On, correct?
I think it seemed pretty cash grabby.
Yeah.
Kind of what I remember.
So T-Mech, I was able to get good at it, at least relative to my city in Louisiana. And you just go on big 30 streaks of winning. And I remember going to the Pierre Bozier Mall on Black Friday, not to shop, but just because I knew there would be tons of extra people there, so I'd get to play T-Mech even more. I could play a 3-hour game for 75 cents, and man, it was glorious. I love the sounds. It's got. You can look it up on YouTube. There was a 32 export. I don't know how much you can actually look up on YouTube, to be honest with you. It's such a rare game.
T-Mech?
Yeah, T-Mech.
T-M-E-K?
Yeah, it's got
I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, it's kind of got like a Twisted Metal-esque feel to it. Like the bad guy Nazrak he looks kind of like he belongs in the Twisted Metal universe. This is of course before Twisted Metal was a thing. 2.5D. Think Doom. Actually, not even Doom. It doesn't. There's no up and down. So maybe Wolf 3D
Yeah.
era graphics.
Yeah,
But
it reminded me of like, yeah, old kind of computer graphics. Was this in the 90s, right?
Yes, early 90s.
It was a very 90s, yeah, very 90s game, what I remember.
They had different mechs. Speaking of sneaking, there was a lurker mech that could literally disappear. You'd have a defensive weapon that was different for each of the different types of mechs. There were 6 mechs in the game, so one of them could disappear and sneak around. I always liked the one that had the point of view missile because you could steer your missile right into your target and fly completely around the screen while you're sitting you're basically sniping. So I had fun with that mech. There was a speed mech that lets you go way faster than anybody else, but also have no shields. I don't think it's the best game ever made by any means, but it's one of the games I had more fun with than any I can ever recall. So I'll throw it under my guilty pleasure variety.
Almost reminds me of like Twisted Metal.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and there's hidden stuff too. There's so it's an Atari game from the early 90s, and one of the Primal Rage dinosaurs is actually hidden in the game. Yeah, you can sneak through a hidden passage. There's nothing. You don't get anything other than wasting your time and probably losing because of it. But you can sneak off the map and find one of the Primal Rage dinosaurs, and shoot them.
I can see that being a thing. Midway, was it right?
Atari did this.
Atari.
But yeah, when they were sharing facilities and stuff, so such a good game, or such a game that I enjoy.
Was arcades like a common thing, like in where you like lived?
We had when I was growing up, we had probably 4. Basically, every mall had an arcade, and that held out until I moved to Dallas when I was like 95. That's when I moved to Richardson and never looked back. But yeah, I remember that. No matter where I lived, there was at least an arcade in the mall. So I went to the one at Golden Triangle Mall in Denton quite a bit. I went to the one at the UNT Student Union building a lot, which reminded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was like the back room of Free Play Denton. Very, very small, very tight, but it's so burned into my little kid brain that I can tell you that Funhouse Pinball was in there, Ms. Pac-Man was in there, Rampart was in there, Space Gun was in there, TMNT was in there, all just packed into this little room. E-SWAT, Shinobi, just a wonderful little arcade in the Student Union building. Yeah,
definitely my lunch spot. When I first started going there, I'd stay there, get in a couple games of what was the fighting game that was in there? Soul Calibur, I think, or Soul Edge, I think, or Soul Calibur 2, because it had Killick, from what I remember. But yeah, I played that hoping that somebody would just jump on and be like, "Hey, somebody who knows how to play a game." Kept hoping. Nobody really jumped on though.
Yeah, my mom was in a club for students students with disabilities. I believe it was physically challenged was the PC term for it at the moment. And those terms evolve, so I don't mean to use archaic ones. But they were in their group, and I remember it very well. It was 1990. I was 10 years old. They were very excited that the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, was passed, requiring basically wheelchair ramps and access for people with disabilities to all facilities. So it was a big moment for them. They were celebrating. They were having big weekly get-togethers for their group, and my mom would bring me and lead me downstairs while they met in their group and would give me one shining quarter and I would get to spend all night until like midnight at this stupid arcade. And you talk about some of my best memories. I absolutely loved it there.
1/4. You have to be good at something
Had to,
with
man.
1/4.
Well, you know what? I would either I'd play Ms. Pac or whatever. Maybe I'd play one game of Ninja Turtles. But I would still have a ton of fun because I'd watch the other people play. I'd watch people. Because at that point, the college kids would come and grind out a victory on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I get to see the Technodrome blow up. That was cool. I always loved watching people play Rampart and imagining myself getting to play with the trackball. I remember seeing a guy with his friends come and play Ms. Pac, and he was as good as he wanted to be, and he could kill him. He could finish a level inside of a ghost, and he told me that he was trying to get his doctorate in Ms. Pac-Man, and I was just
Inside of a ghost.
yeah. So he would time it to where he'd get the last dot where he was his hitbox was like right inside the ghost, the frame before he would die.
Wow. That precise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he played the game a little bit, I would say. Arcade game that I should have played by now. Now I put arcade in parentheses on these because I think we'll have some people will have trouble saying arcade games for everyone. So this is my one cheat where I didn't use an arcade game. Because thanks to free play, I've played virtually every arcade game I could imagine. I really can't think of any that I haven't played at all. Other than like modern raw thrills games, which have been uniformly terrible, except for the last game on the list. Yeah, game I should have played by now is God of War 4, the new God of War.
Oh yeah.
Love the franchise, love the presentation of God of War. Really, really, really want to get to playing this game. Last of Us 2 is going to quickly jump up on this list of game I should have played by now, but I really want to take 2 days and pause my entire life and just play out God of War and enjoy what I bet is a good game and everybody tells me is a good game. Have you played it, Ian?
Man, I haven't. I was just thinking about like what arcade game could fit in this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's easier to think of like a new game because there's a lot more of those that I haven't played than like an arcade game. Thanks to like free play.
Right.
Like I can't imagine not having played something on the free play floor. Like it feels like I've played most everything on there. I'm really trying to think if there's a game that I did not touch. Maybe Gauntlet, but no, I remember playing that like the first time I ever went to the first free play. Yeah, I really can't think of anything arcade-wise.
Yeah, I mean, we're absolutely spoiled here. We get access to everything, games that we never knew existed. The only ones that it leaves are like modern games, and honestly, like my experience with them has been terrible. So, I don't. There are some, but like there aren't many that I really want to play, except for like Japanese ones. So there were some in Japan that I didn't get to play. Some of the different Mech Warrior games and card battle games that they had in the Japanese arcade games.
That would be a thing. I would have to look to Japan because there's plenty of those that I haven't. I got to play some of them thanks to like I guess round one with like table flipping game, or I've seen like the Japanese drum game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If I had this list right now, it would be what was that Japanese party game that you guys had in Richardson?
Bishibashi channel.
Yeah,
it's still there.
Never got to play that.
Still there. You're gonna get your chance.
Yeah. That one seemed fun. The last time I was about to play that was like right before everything turned to 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it was right before.
Yeah.
And it's a great game. It belongs there. It should basically never leave the floor. Give me about 90 seconds, and I'll be back with the last question, which is the greatest game to play live in an arcade. I'll be back.
Okay. Well, on my end, I'm pretty much done. We've got a Mike B. If we ever need to advertise anything, I'm sure we can add something here. I'm sure there's something Mike wants to advertise besides, certain streets in Dallas. We've got the Chris counterpart. This Metal Gear. I don't know where this image came from, actually. I'm assuming this is still Metal Gear 1 because it's the same mech here and here. But this looks. You know what? You know what? I bet you this is a Mondo thing. Here. CDN Shopify. Just look it up again. Metal Gear is. Oh, well, they had the triangle, but it was a different image here. Where do I find this? Metal Gear NES. Triangle back again. Wait a second. Is this an Ultra game or is this Konami? Wait, was this both Konami and... No way was this Konami. This looks fake. Was Metal Gear Konami and...
Yes.
It was? What's
Yes,
this
but Ultra...
Games version then?
Well, Ultra, yeah.
Ultra was Konami. Interesting. That's where the other image came from, maybe. Oh, see, I knew it was like a Mondo thing. It looked like a record cover. I've never seen this Konami version of Metal Gear. I've always thought of this Ultra, because remember that like black swath on the left. Ultra was a small shell company, so they could release more than one game per year. Interesting. Huh. Who knew? Because there's a couple of other Ultra games. Yes? Yeah, see, I remember Skate or Die.
Love that game.
I had no clue. I didn't know it was Konami. But yeah, Turtles. That's pretty neat. So your last game.
Yes. Last question on the list. The greatest game to play live in an arcade. There's plenty that could go here, but my choice is Killer Queen. I love Super Turbo. It's uniquely belongs in an arcade, but not as uniquely as Killer Queen belongs in an arcade. You know, this is not a perfect game, but it's brilliant inside an arcade. It's 2020, so we can't be all piled upon each other, but the way it brings, let's just go to a post or pre-pandemic world where we can all stand next to each other. The game encourages you to be next to each other. 5 players playing on a team. The game is so incredibly simple. Left, right, button. That's it. It's Mario Brothers. It's Joust combined. And that's all it is. And like, it's so simple, and yet giving you that team mechanic and the big screen and, you know, the simplistic graphics. Like, it's got this retro goodness to it. It's got a sweet feel to it. You got your little bumble bears collecting pink berries. You know, I feel like I thought about making it my underappreciated game, but then I saw like greatest game to play live in an arcade. You cannot get that experience. There is a console version of Killer Queen called Killer Queen Black. You cannot get the experience that you get from an arcade playing a console version of this. It just doesn't translate to being next to a player, feeling the excitement. Like when Molly jumps up and down when there's a victory and starts screaming. That's a Killer Queen Denton player. Like, it's just so infectious. It's so real. Like, I swear, every single game of Killer Queen that's 5-on-5 is a joy in some way, or it's a beatdown if like a group of 5 wants to menace you, and that's really where I think there's a disconnect in the Dallas scene where Free Play was not the first place to get Killer Queen, which if you're going to an arcade in the DFW area and it's not free play, then like that's a weird subsect of people who would go to another arcade in the face of like the greatest arcade in the country. So it made for a weird scene for Killer Queen. And I talked to somebody about this yesterday. It was actually Carlos. I was like, because I'm looking for a tag team partner for the tag team Killer Queen title tonight, right? I asked him if he played, and he's like, no, man, the people who play that game are weird. Like, I'm put off by them. And, like, I understand. You know, I've seen it happen. Damien says get Sarah. Which Sarah? Sarah Nicole? Which one of those?
With an H, without an H.
Yeah. Barkeep Sarah. Well, the other Sarah might be jealous. But yeah, it's got a bizarre scene in the Dallas area, which is upside down. Also, the game is not perfect. There's glitches that happen. The way, you know, we've had the developers on the show. Actually, we've had 2 Bumble Bear members in the live matching game. They created the game Bubble Bear.
Yeah.
It's got its glitches, and like when we were playing Abs versus the Blood Queen, Gyroblade was coming up and even like admitting that it's a glitchy game. But I just can't describe to you how infectious and fun this game is when it's done right. If you have 10 people, if we have the X scene, if we have the VGM Wednesday only 10-player Killer Queen competition, we'll probably have one of the funnest nights you'll have of the year. I promise.
Yeah.
It's, in my opinion, the greatest game to play live in an arcade, Killer Queen. So there you go.
To play live? You mean like in the arcade?
Yes.
Or do you mean for people to watch?
No, to play.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can see that.
I mean, you cannot translate that to anything
No,
other than
can't
the
play that
arcade.
at
You
home.
cannot. It's got a console release. It pales in comparison. Abs versus the Blood Queen is just not even trying to be the same thing. It's just, it has the same mechanics so that people can get a taste of what they so desperately love while they're stuck inside without anybody else to play.
I feel like a lot of those games that are like cooperative but yet competitive bring out the best and sometimes the worst in people.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Killer. It's right where I want it to be. It's for my money, it's the greatest game to play live in an arcade, and I've had such good experiences, and I want to share it with my friends. I wish history hadn't played out the way it did with Killer Queen, because it's made it extra hard, and it's given Carlos his thoughts on the game. You know, there's many of the players. You know, J-Pong has a kind of a checkered feeling about it. I believe everybody has had the bad run-ins with a Killer Queen player who's spent any time around, at least pre-COVID. Post-COVID, it's much different. But dang it, that game is gold. It's gold.
It's addictive.
Well, it's simple though. Like
Easy
you
to
say,
watch, too.
addictive, and I'm thinking Farmville, where it's literally designed to be addictive. It's
Oh,
not addictive.
what I mean by
it's
that,
amazing.
yeah, what I mean by that is that it makes you want to keep playing. That's how addictive it is, because it's actually fun, but at the same token, it can get intense. Because I remember I used to watch Sarah and I at Denton, where people would they'd go all in, man, as if it's like modern warfare.
Yeah.
And it could be a little intimidating for people who don't play often or at all.
I understand, and like, it's so. This is always like the hard sales thing with every game is like, we would rather play with you than not. Like, if you never played before, please join us because it's just more fun. If the computer wants to run around and do nothing, and you want to like learn to like run berries and die a million times, like that makes our game better. Like, please join us. It's more fun. And that's, everybody's obsessed with like, well, I'm going to lose, I'm going to cause you to lose, or I don't want to let down the team. No, you're not going to let down the team. Like, we win or we lose, we're just going to hit start again and play this game. We're loving the game and we want to play it with you. That's all we care about.
Right.
Damon,
also hard
you gonna
requiring-
take our survey at some point?
Sure. Sorry, I'm actually. I know in the chat they mentioned that I'm a little loud, so I was trying to play with my settings here before I chime
that's
in.
on my end. That's on my end.
Yeah, it would be on
Okay.
Chris's end.
Yep, I have. I made a list, and I
Oh.
wanted to be as faithful to what you said about arcade games as opposed to console.
Well, I want to invite you back, so that we can give you plenty of time to breathe. Because I know Ian's got to go here.
Yeah, I
shortly.
gotta take off here and yeah.
But the idea
I'm
is we're
pretty
gonna do
much
this
done on
once a week, and highlight a different player each week. So do you wanna be our player next week?
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll send you the entire list. So I have all the questions. It's arcade game that you hate, arcade game you think is overrated, arcade game you think is underappreciated, the one that you love, one that you play over and over again, one that made you fall in love with arcades, the game that changed your life, game that surprised you, a game that's your guilty pleasure, the game you should have played by now, and the greatest game to play live in an arcade.
So I'll tease the audience for next week and just let them know that one of the most life-changing games for me is something most people wouldn't expect, and it was Pit Fighter.
The best.
And I can tease that out for next week.
I have played that at Free Play.
Wasn't that a Tuesday night fight at one point in time?
Nope, it was
Or-
our 24-hour event last year. We had it.
Boy.
Is that still happening this year, Chris?
Yes, in some fashion. Not sure how yet, but it's going to happen in some way. Are we all done here, Ian?
Yeah, I'm done on mine.
All right. Well, thank you for
Good.
joining us.
We've
I know
got
you got to go.
3 quickies. Yeah, I am. But yeah, we've got 2 Metal Gears. And you know what? Like I said, if we want to change this or add some kind of announcement or something weird in this computer, we can definitely do that.
You know what? Can you send me the link to your I Love Free Play profile things again? Because I want to reshare those. Those are so amazing.
Yeah, I think you can just search Save the Arcade, I think, if you're
Alright.
looking for.
Yeah, I'll find
Yeah,
those links.
I'll find out.
Yeah,
yeah.
I could
I
do that
do
search.
have
You got to
links.
do work, but I want to reshare those because they're so dang good. Your I Love Free Play
And-
artwork is amazing.
And I'll also send the links to this because I still have like this as a phone background and a desktop background too, if people want to toss those around. This has been my background since freaking April before that.
We had all these
Before
cool
the
transitions.
announcement.
And I've just
Yeah.
kept the one that's I Love Free Play. Like, it's so very perfect. So, thank you, Ian, for doing VGM Wednesdays. We'll be back next Wednesday at noon, and it is Wrestling Wednesday at 7 p.m. is when it officially starts, but Free Play Richardson opens at 3 p.m. today. It's Wrestling Wednesday, which means we'll be watching NXT and AEW wrestling on the projector screen, and also we'll be having title matches on games like Killer Queen and Pac-Man and Super Turbo and Third Strike. Like, we'll just play whatever we can play with whomever we can play it with, and we'll throw some wrestling title belts in there. There'll be winners, there'll be losers. We'll just shoot promos with both of them. So harness your inner Randy Macho Man Savage and come on out and let's have a goofy good time at Free Play Richardson during Wrestling Wednesday. And this Friday, Free Play Arlington, Adam has a $300 cash bar, open bar that he is running out of his own pocket.
Generous man.
And that means DJ Terminator Mike B is going to, out of his heart, going to do a free set by request at Free Play Arlington. So come out and support Arlington, support Adam, support DJ Terminator Mike B, and have a damn good time at Free Play Arlington this Friday. And his open bar starts at 7 p.m. So get your drinks in on a steep discount. And we will see you tomorrow for Mike B News at noon. Bye, everybody. Oh, and that's by the Facebook. For the Twitch, we should raid somebody. Who can we raid?
Yeah.
Don't want to waste it.
was gonna say good night for some reason. It's like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, dude.
It's hard. I can't really. It's hard to preview who's doing what.
Yeah, I jump in like if it's people that I follow, I kind of jump in, see what they're doing. It's usually playing in like the background. This is the perfect ending music. This one right now.
Get ready.
Super Mario 64, Piranha Plant's Lullaby.
Oh,
Game Tracks just
bingo.
started.
Perfect timing, Game Tracks. It's going to you.
Perfect community.
Here we go. Say hello to Game Tracks. And yeah, I'm going to stick around and say hi to him. See you guys tonight at Free Play Richardson.
See you, Twitch.
We are off.
And I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying safe, staying productive,
Ooh,
relaxing.
thanks.
Whatever it is, I hope you're doing great at it. Free Play Arcade!